who has a wonderful voice. I'm going to play something that she sings now, which has never, ever actually been released. The lyrics are written by Olivia Harrison, who, as well as being married to George Harrison, was a great poet and has various volumes of poetry been published. And she wrote this poem, which I set to music, about Billie Holiday. And it's called White Gardinas because Billie Holiday was known for her signature of wearing those white gardenia flowers in her hair. And here is Beth Rowley singing it.
White gardenias when she was queen of the blues, perfume to keep her spirits up as she sang for me and you. Maybe that perfume was everything that kept her there so long. Raunchy she was singing in every single song. Billy wore white flowers, just think of her that way. Velvet voice and piano, just knowing how to say what it means to lose the love inside words like stormy weather. And even on top of happy rhymes, Billy sang in her own sad time. She could make a song to cut through a frozen heart and piece together those already fallen apart. And Billy wore white flowers, a queen who paid some dues. Oh, how she loved that perfume, and it's still wafting in her blues. And Billy loved white flowers, just think of her that way. Her velvet voice and piano, just knowing how to say what it means to lose a love inside words like stormy weather. And even on top of the happy songs, Billy sang in her own sad time. And Billy wore white flowers, just think of her that way. Her velvet voice and piano, just knowing how to say what it means to lose a love inside words like stormy weather. And even on top of happy rhymes, Billy sang in her own sad time.
White Gardinas, a song dedicated to Billie Holiday, written by Olivia Harrison, featuring the wonderful voice of Beth Rowley, who is going to be my guest on the second half of this programme. You're listening to Earlier with me, Jools Holland, on BBC Radio 3. So now, a spiritual style melody by the great American composer Florence.
Express myself or be free in
Music. The opening chorus from Bach's cantata number 129, Gelobet sei der Herr mein Gott, Praise be the Lord my God, performed by the Amsterdam Baroque Orchestra, conducted by Ton Koopman. So in a moment we're going to meet our guest this week, Beth Rowley, the wonderful singer. She has a new album out, Pale Jewel Volume 2, in which she covers a lot of wonderful old hymns and spirituals. So before we meet her, here she is with Climbing High Mountains.
Lord, I'm climbing high mountains trying to get home. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains trying to get home. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains, climbing high mountains. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains trying to get home. Lord, I'm bearing my burdens trying to get home. Lord, I'm bearing my burdens trying to get home. Lord, I'm bearing my burdens, bearing my burdens. Lord, I'm bearing my burdens trying to get home. Lord, I'm having hard trials trying to get home. Lord, I'm having hard trials trying to get home. Lord, I'm having hard trials, having hard trials. Lord, I'm having hard trials trying to get home. Lord, my way sometimes weary trying to get home. Lord, my way sometimes weary trying to get home. Lord, my way sometimes weary, way sometimes weary. Lord, my way sometimes weary trying to get home. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains trying to get home. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains trying to get home. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains, climbing high mountains. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains trying to get home. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains, climbing high mountains. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains trying to get home.
Climbing High Mountains from the album Pale Jewel Volume 2, and the lovely voice of Beth Rowley, who is my guest here today. Welcome, Beth Rowley. Yes.
Good morning.
So it's very good to have you here in the studio with us. It is the album all traditional spiritual songs.
This recent one is. Yeah, it's all old hymns. The first one is a mixture of lullabies and old songs that I remember hearing when I was very little. But this recent one is all purely old spirituals and old hymns.
But now you've engaged in all sorts of music and sung with all sorts of stylings of music. What was the first music you heard when you were growing up in Bristol?
I grew up knowing all about, the musical heritage of Bristol, Tricky, and that whole scene. At home, my dad, he just lives and breathes music. There was a lot of different influences because he was a minister, so I grew up going to church several times on a Sunday. In fact, it was pretty much our weekly activities revolved around that. So there was that quite strong influence, which is where lots of these old hymns from Pale Jewel have now come in. I didn't quite so much gravitate towards that when I was younger, I think, because they were written, those old songs are written either for the women who sing up very high or for the bass, the low men's voices. And I remember saying to him, I just don't really feel like I fit anywhere. I mean, the words are beautiful. I loved that aspect of it, but didn't feel like I could really express myself or be free in that style. Musically, yeah.
Framework.
Yeah. So he actually was the one that then said, that's fine. He was like, all good. Check out this old gospel music, which is where lots of the old blues stuff came from, Sister Rosetta and Bessie Smith, which I know we've there's a bunch of songs in your set, which I love. I think I did try the flute when I was younger, when I had lessons, but I think because singing for me was always something which I would wake up and do. Like, some people wake up and they're compelled to write, or they paint, or they do something, their creativity comes out. Like, singing was the thing for me. I just didn't have to make any effort it wasn't work. It was just something which I just did. So when it came to actually learning an instrument, I was like, that's a bit too much like hard work, And
You brought some choices with you today. What's the first piece that you have with you?
The first piece which I've chosen is by a composer, multi-instrumentalist. I've met her in Bristol about a year ago. Her name's Emma Butterworth. And she's very thorough. Everything she does is very organised, and she's very passionate about everything, which is so lovely. When you're around people and you just want to know more about what they're doing.
Yes.
She's incredible. This is a piece that she wrote called In Stasis. And she's performing on it. There's some beautiful cello on it, which I seem to respond instantly to the cello. So I have to be in the right mood to listen to it, but it's beautiful.
Emma Butterworth with In Stasis. Chosen by my guest here today, Beth Rowley. It's so lovely to have you here, Beth. I understand that you're quite a cello fan.
I am. Yeah, I've got a real soft spot. When I was younger, I used to watch this film with my brother, the original Willy Wonka, and the music at the end, which is when the glass elevator is going out through the glass ceiling and it smashes and they fly over his house, and there's a piece of music which kicks in just when the credits are going up, and there's a cello section that comes in. You have to kind of be patient because there's a few different phases to this piece of music. And I remember just as a kid, it just used to undo me. I'd just be like, I just can't handle whatever's happening inside my body right now. This is just too intense. But I loved it so much. I actually walked down the aisle to this piece of music because I've loved it.
But when you got married,
When
you
I got
played
married,
that?
when I got married, yeah. I don't know what it is about the cello, but I mean, I think it probably has a similar effect on lots of people. It just seems to clear away everything, put everything in perspective.
That's how I feel about the piano. You know, it doesn't matter if it's Viking Olofsson, a great concert pianist, or sort of Pete Johnson playing Boogie Woogie in 1932. It's the same thing. Whoa, what's he doing? What's she doing with this instrument now? You know, it's great.
Yeah, it's like I'm a plug and I'm connecting into the wall. I'm connecting to the source, whatever the source is. I mean, I grew up going to church, so I'm like, you know, but whatever it is, it's like music has this way of just so life-giving, and I just want to do that. I want to connect with that every day.
It's going there all the time. You just have to plug into it. Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
Your next piece of music is film music.
Yeah. So this is a piece which I remember listening to with my brother, and her voice. So Eda Del Orso, I think I remember the first time I heard it and just thought it was just heavenly. You know, when you hear someone sing and you think, I want to do that. I want to do that. I think she's got like a 3-octave range. You know, she has an ease of reaching those notes.
So what is the piece that we're going to hear, and which film is it from?
So it's Ecstasy of Gold from The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. As soon as you hear the little riff come in, it's almost like the sound goes into my ears and some sort of chemical is released, and it's like I've been waiting to exhale, and I can feel my whole body go, ah. Yeah, it's pretty special.
Ennio Morricone, Ecstasy of Gold, from the film The Good, the Bad and the Ugly from 1966. But let me ask you this, Beth. Had you seen the film before you heard the music, or did you? Which way round did it go?
Film first.
Yeah.
The grave scene.
I think it's where the character Taco is frantically trying to find the grave that contains sort of a load of gold coins, and so that's like a big deal.
Yeah.
What is the next thing that you've chosen for us, Beth?
Okay, so the next piece which I've chosen is by Nasir Sharma. He's actually an Iraqi musician, an oud player, which I became familiar with it around 2016 when I started doing these trips to Bethlehem and Palestine. And I started volunteering and then ended up working with a small organisation, human rights organisation. And the oud was one of these instruments which was just completely new to me. You know, you grow up and you hear these instruments and you think, oh yeah, that sounds nice, you know. It's only until you really dive a bit deeper that you really realise the context and where it fits, what it means to the people who are actually playing it. So there was this example when we were in Bethlehem, in a little village just outside. We were doing some little house rebuild projects, going to visit some of these houses which had been recently built. And we were in the garden and it was just maybe 4 or 5 of us. And then suddenly a lot of people arrived. I think because we were guests, they all came. I mean, the hospitality is a whole nother level. You know, that's a big thing. So there was a hole in the ground and a little fire pit, and they'd been cooking this food for about 8 hours or so. So this amazing food, this lid got taken off and the smells were incredible. And then there were a couple of oud players and we thought, oh, great, we're going to do some music. We all just sat there and listened, and the oud playing was absolutely spectacular. And we just realised, I think in that moment, that really cemented it in my head, just what it meant. Like this instrument really was not just bringing people together, but it was really part of the fabric of their community, and the stories that were being passed down and the positivity and the hope and the togetherness that they had in that moment was there was a real urgency to it, but a real lightness and joy, full of life. So it left a lasting impression.
So let's hear Nasir Sharma with Bab Al Amal. Nasir Sharma with Bab Al Amal. Well, I really love your album Pale Jewel Volume 2, and I shall be playing more things from that at home. What's the last piece of music that you've chosen for us here today?
The last piece that I've chosen is a Chopin Nocturne, and this is one that I've been listening to inspire my piano practice. Yeah. So watch this space in a year's time. Hopefully I'll be able to play something that resembles this.
Well, I think Chopin, apparently, he was only 20 when he wrote this.
Oh, there we go.
So so he did start early, so that's all right.
Yeah. And this is a song as well. We've been listening to classical music at tea times in our house because the two boys, they seem to they dial up their mental energy level around tea time. So having classical music on has become a regular tea time thing in our house.
How great. And would you be playing this?
This is definitely one of the ones.
Great. Thank you so much for being our guest here today, Beth Rowley. Wonderful talking to you and hearing you. And we're going to finish now with Chopin's Nocturne No. 2, Opus 9, played by Alice Sarah Ott. Thanks for joining us. Be seeing you.